Morning. It's about 5:30, I think. So fairly average for me. At least it's not 3:30. Training went well last night at Odin's Raven Guard. But we are struggling with numbers and reliability issues. Currently there are only 3 when it comes to training. Not support. There are people who support us and come as well. Hello, Paula. Currently, when it comes to training, there are only 3 people we can rely on. That would be Stigander, our leader, the man whose baby this is, me, myself, and Stig's mate Stewie. No, that's Stig's real name, Graham, who initially came along for the company and to learn about the history, but is starting to want to be involved in combat training. Now, he's nearly 60, but I admire his willingness to learn. He's not, I would say he's fit enough and active enough to learn. And, you're never too old to learn as far as I'm concerned, but a lot of people will say, no, it's too old. And that is a number of reasons for that. But, lack of confidence as you get older is one of the reasons for that. It's easy to say, I'm not too old to learn something and use your age as an excuse. There are other reasons, of course, but that is one I will highlight. I think myself and our leader, we're starting to get more than a little disappointed with people who are constantly, oh yeah, I'm really interested, and they never show up for one reason or another. There's always an excuse, but you begin to get to the stage where you think, it's just one excuse after another. Are you just saying you're interested just to, It's a problem that, people like myself with high functioning autism, ADHD do have, in that when someone commits to something, even if it's just, oh yeah, I'll definitely turn up, the use of the word definitely means, as far as people like myself are concerned, yeah, they'll be there, they'll do it, or whatever. Whereas, as we all know in real life, that means nothing. It's why I very rarely commit to anything, because I view it as a point of honour to, if I do say I'm going to do something, then I will do it. And circumstances can sometimes make that difficult. I do understand people have other commitments, but we'd really like to get this group off the ground, ideally with at least a dozen active members. And, start doing the circuit. It may be next year before we majorly start the circuit. This year, maybe a couple of minor events, some school events, that sort of thing. I may well have a bruise on my calf muscle later. Steve caught me hard enough in the calf with the spear point to kind of make it go numb for a little while, so he got me back for last week. Apparently he had one hell of a bruise on his kidneys area of his back. Yeah, nice circular bruise with a red point mark in the middle from the knobbly bit on the end of my spear, because all the spears have almost a ball bearing on the point to make them safer. There are many people who look at what we do and think, oh, you're nutters, you know. Well, yeah, if you think that, then it's obviously not for you. So, and that's fair enough. Each to their own. I mean, even to the point, I make a point of standing outside to wait for Stiander to pick me up with all my kit, you know, in bags and stuff, so it's not obviously on display, although the shield and spear are. And, you know, I've had, past 2 weeks, I've had positive feedback from passers-by, some of whom know me, some of whom are just random people. Last week, I was sitting there, and a bloke with 2 young lads, his kids, come walking past, and he spied the sword hilt sticking out the top of one of the bags. He was like, oh wow, look. And he like, show us the sword, and I'm like, you know, took it out of the bag, went, there you go. And the kids are all wide-eyed and, oh wow, and he was really pleased. He's like, thank you, you know. I've then got some business cards, so maybe I should have thrust one of them in his hand, you know. We shall see. I mean, Paula is going to print out some A4 posters with the group's logo and name, and I'm going to put my own writing on it to just say, you know, we're recruiting. This is when we train. Hopefully to drum up interest. Oh. I mean, I had an idea a while back. I wanted to form a group of historical reenactors, possibly online, although I'm not good enough to do that yet. Well, I don't know really. I'm uncertain about how to go about doing that. Basically dedicated to people with a love of historical reenactment, who are also autistic, ADHD, mental health issues. The idea, you know, the name was the Full Spectrum Warriors. You know, I would have made it the online version. I mean, right across the periods, you know, World War II reenactors, Napoleonic reenactors, us Viking Saxons, you know, just a meeting of minds. You know, people with an absolute obsession with history, because people like me do get obsessed with things. Talk about, you know, our experiences with our mental health and our love of history. And I'm thinking Odin's Raven Guard could become that baby under a different name. I mean, you know, neurotypical people are welcome too. We're inclusive. We're even okay with people who come along who just want to craft and don't want to be involved in the combat side of things. You know, want to learn how to dye stuff with natural material and weave, that sort of thing. That's all good. But we do need more combat training members. It's a bit difficult making a shield wall with 2 of you, maybe 3. But it'll come. I've got a feeling it will. These things tend to have a slow to start and then they tend to snowball. So, you know. But for me, it's still the same. Every time I train, I come back. Excuse me. With an aura of calm contentment. Like I've had a really good workout. Because we do. Me and Stigander, we have the pace of each other. Last night we managed a protracted sevens style sword duel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back and forth between each other, one blocking, one striking. And, you know, the swords were clashing and it sounded real good. It's stuff that the general public really like to hear. And when we do shield work, you strike your opponent's shield real hard. In reality, you'd be working around the shield, but that's not what the general public want to hear. They want to hear the loud bangs of shields clashing and axes thunking into shields and swords clashing, you know. So I've got some burrs to take out my sword this morning. This is important because the burrs in a blunted reenactment blade can rip clothing, take chunks off spear shafts. That's happened last night. You know, so you have to maintain your weaponry. It's yet another part of the hobby. And I should make sure that's all done before, you know, next training. We did think about cutting down training to, well, I suggested cutting down training to fortnightly until we get more numbers. But unfortunately, Stigander has committed to weekly for the foreseeable future. I mean, I can't help him financially because of my lack of finance. Yeah, all I've got is a little part-time job once, twice a week, maybe. And not much else other than that, unless I manage to buy or sell something, you know. I mean, I've still got several £100 worth of stuff that I occasionally put up on Facebook. You know, no one buys it because it's all pretty dewjaws. It's nothing practical. And, you know, I understand people's finances aren't exactly great. It's just finding the right market, the right person who desires the right object, and it's tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky. I must say, there are some times when I just think, oh, fuck this. It ain't working, but I know I've got no other choice. I cannot do the sort of jobs I used to. I cannot get my head down, take orders from people who often I consider to be a lot less of a human being than I am, and stupid. It's just not in my nature. I wouldn't say hatred, my loathing of ignorance. I'll follow someone who I respect and admire. Not without question, of course. That would be silly. But yeah, but those who come across to me as ignorant, petty, selfish, and not suited to their role, I will not follow. I will not pretend to follow or respect. Because that is being dishonest with myself. I've found over the years that being dishonest with yourself is far too damaging. I did it for many years. It's called masking. And it made me angry, bitter, resentful, and a full-blown alcoholic. I mean, yeah, I drink every day now, bottled wine. That is nothing compared to how I used to be 3 or 4 years ago. There, I'd sometimes start, if I had the money, I would sometimes start afternoon or even lunchtime at home, drink a bottle of wine, then maybe go out and have a few pints, get another bottle of wine. By the evening, I'd probably down the equivalent of 4 bottles of wine and various alcohol. You know, this was at the weekend when I wasn't trying to full-time work. But of an evening when I was full-time working, because I was literally 14, 15 hours of my day used to be occupied by a shitty job. Well, the job was good. I liked what I did, but the people, a lot of them were arseholes of the highest order. And I regularly used to come home, cook me tea, so 7:30. By 8 o'clock, I'd have opened the first bottle of wine. Probably by about 9 o'clock, I'd be down the corner shop again, second bottle of wine. Then I'd either pass out on the sofa or manage to get myself in a bed. Get up 5 o'clock the next morning, probably not in a fit state to drive, and off I'd go to work again. Living like that just ain't healthy. I'm not saying my lifestyle's particularly healthy now, but I feel better about it. Well, no, I eat balanced diet. You know, and I have many commitments and interests outside of Odin's Raven Guard, just in case things go tits up. But at the moment, it and Ipswich Community Hub are my 2 main foci. Foci, there's a big word. And I feel in a better place than I've ever been. To be honest, I'm more sure of myself in those areas than I ever have been with anything else that's gone on, really. And that's a good thing. Late bloomer. I just want a chance to make my mark on the world before the inevitable happens. I don't want to be rich. I don't particularly want to be poor either, but that looks like what I'm destined to be. But as long as I leave a positive impression, people remember me in a positive way, then that would make me happy. I have no kids to pass a legacy down to. And that kind of saddens me in a way. But it's natural instinct. Because I think I would make an absolutely terrible father. That maybe I'll go into in another episode, because we're nearly at 20 minutes and that's a good length for this sort of thing. So I shall leave it at that and do some morning gaming. I hope I don't look too haggard. Alright, thanks for listening, and I'm sure we'll talk again.